It's a strange circumstance, obviously, to not have seen a team for an entire year, but does it really matter since you're pretty familiar with what they do?
Yeah, I don't know if it matters that much. We've obviously seen the same teams a lot of the time. But like you said, I mean, this is a familiar situation for both teams. It wasn't that long ago that we found ourselves in this spot. So, there's still familiarity there for sure.
Josh, second time around in this spot against a similar team, is it a similar feeling to be going into this Final Four series, or does it every year just kind of hit you a little bit differently?
Yeah, I mean, this go around is a little bit different. Obviously, last year was the bubble, and now we'll be traveling a little more, and we get the packed crowds. So it's I think we're just looking forward to the challenge. Looking forward to that puck drop, and trying to put our best foot forward.
Andrew Gross, Newsday.
Hey guys, if you can think back, how do you think you handled Tampa's power play last go round, and how crucial, maybe it goes without saying, but how crucial is it to kind of, contain them and make this series a 5-on-5 series?
Yeah, I think it goes without saying for sure. Anytime you're down a guy, it doesn't matter what power play you're playing against. It's obviously a disadvantage. Not only does it not allow you to apply pressure in the offensive zone and carry the play to them, but the further you go, the better teams you play, the better power plays you face, the more dangerous they are. Obviously, probably could have done a better job against Boston, but did enough. And similar challenges here coming up. So important to stay disciplined. I think we've done a pretty good job of that. And then on us as penalty killers to get that job done when and if we get down.
Neil Best, Newsday.
Obviously, even though you saw them last year, that was without Stamkos. So what kind of challenges does he present in dealing with him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a special player. I think he's been an elite player for a long time. Obviously adds another element with him being in the lineup. So they got lots of players that can hurt you. There's no question about that. And we know we're going to have to use one another and be at our best to find a way to come out on top.
Ken Campbell, New York Times.
Yeah, hi. This is a question for Cal. Cal, you've obviously been a member of the organization for quite some time, for 8 years. You've seen a lot, you've been through a lot, both ups and downs. And I'm wondering if, when you look at the last couple of years, what you guys have been able to accomplish, what how different the vibe has been, and what the biggest differences have been between, these times and, the heady times of moving into a new rink, all of that, compared to the days when things were a bit more of a struggle.
Yeah, well, I think those two things are married, honestly. I think the team that you see today and the team that we were then, I think a lot of credit has to be given to the guys there. I think in tough circumstances, I think a lot of these guys who are core group players now and leaders now came up in that era where there's a lot of uncertainty. But I think one thing we were always good at then is sticking together as a group of guys and getting through tough things together. And I think, the fact that we had to kind of live through those years, we lived through them together. Like I said, the core group of guys is mainly intact. And I think it kind of just allowed us to become close. And I think we always had confidence in our ability as a team. And then we just kind of added a little structure, and then we really started to build on, what I think we thought we were capable of the whole time. But I think those tough experiences and the uncertainty really allowed us to kind of come together as a group of guys and really kind of started to shape what this group has become today.
Can you have a follow-up? Okay, we'll move to Tom Galletti, NHL.com. Oh, go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously you're focused on this series and that, and I can appreciate that. But I'm just wondering, when you look at, everything this organization is doing, all the sort of positive steps and moving to the new building, how excited are you for, the future, what lies in the future for this group, like how excited does that make you?
Well, from an organizational perspective, I think it starts with the ownership. They've done a great job putting the right people in place. And then, as cliche as it sounds, you always hear it starts at the top, and it really does. Obviously, Lou knows how to run an organization, knows how to take care of his players, knows what he wants out of them. We know what he wants out of us. And the same thing with Barry. So it starts at the top, but yeah, I mean, the organization's in a good spot, but again, like you said, preemptively, our focus is more nearsighted right now.
Tom Galletti, NHL.com.
Josh, I don't know how much you want to look back at last season's series with them, but other than that first game, did you feel like you were kind of right there with them, and then maybe some moments just kind of slipped away from you after that tough spot the first game?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you learn from those situations, and honestly, we're just focused on right now. There hasn't been much looking back. They were deserving champions, and right now we're just focused on getting ready for this opportunity.
Want me to follow?
Yeah, please. So you mentioned the other day having unfinished business. Was this more about this round then, and not necessarily that team?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we're only halfway there. It wasn't about Tampa Bay specifically. They're a team we have to go up against right now. It's just unfinished business in a sense of, there's still a long way to go, and acknowledging that we all still see that. And, we're just got to keep our foot on the gas.
Joe Smith, The Athletic, Tampa Bay.
Hey, Cal, as Josh mentioned, they have a lot of guys that can hurt you offensively. When you look at a guy like Braden Point, I guess what specifically makes him so unique, or it seems like he's coming up a lot of big goals in the last few years?
Well, he's talented. He's got all the tools. He's got a good hockey IQ. He's got the speed and the agility to match. So it makes it tough. But we've also played some great players thus far in the playoffs, and they all present little different challenges. But I think the same can be said for all these guys. And the more time and space you can take away from them, the better off you're going to be.
Anthony Fucilli, MSG.
Hey, Josh, you've had contributions from several people. It's not been one line. It's not been one player. Just how much confidence does that give you going into the series?
Well, that's a part of our DNA. I think, we need all lines firing, every pair going, and great goaltending, which we've got. So it's, guys contributing. Everyone has their own ingredient they bring to the team. And I think no one is bigger or better than the other. I think we rely on each other. And I think that's what makes our group special.
Alan Creed, New York Times.
Thanks. Great to see both you guys. Cal, for you particularly, what was the emotion like for you to put that empty net goal in Game 6? You've had some signature moments at the Coliseum, but how is that? And was that about the loudest you've ever heard it?
Yeah, it was good. It gave me a flashback to the empty netter I think I scored in 2015 against Wash, and obviously we ended up losing that series, so that memory is a little dampened. But yeah, I mean, not just my goal. I mean, every time anybody scores in that building, it's just awesome. I think you don't think of that specific moment. I think you just kind of think about the whole thing in its entirety. And what makes that even sweeter is that one was one to close out another team, and to give us a couple more cracks in that building. I mean, it's just the whole thing is just awesome.